You're listening to DruidCast episode 164.
Shade of the trees in the summer sunlight rests on the shoulders of a boy and girl who is sitting in the tall grass loving gently. Wind whispers names in their ears. Shade of the trees in the summer sunlight rests on the shoulders of a boy and girl who is sitting in the tall grass loving gently. Wind whispers names in their ears. Listen to me, love me, for I am the land, from the stone on the hills to the grain in your hand. You've power in your body from the birth of the earth. Snow in the winter, blossom in the womb. Forget me not, nor treat me lightly. I am the land. I am the land. I am the land. I am the land. The wind blows the water, the rain soaks the ground, soil beareth the trees which are burnt to the ground. Ash fills the air, smoke bellowing cloud. Cloud burst and the rain fall back down like a shroud. And around and around and the world goeth round. Round and around and the world goeth round. Round and around and the world goeth round. Round and around and the world goeth round. Fresh crack of the old earth, spring lights for us all. Rejoice in the sun, blaze glorious call. Store and collect, all under a mound. Winter is white, and life makes no sound. And around and around, and the world goeth round. Round and around, and the world goeth round. Round and around, and the world goeth round. Round and around, and the world goeth round. Dance to your shadow when it's good to be living life. Dance to your shadow when there's nothing but an area. Dance to your shadow when it's good to be living life. Dance to your shadow when there's nothing but an area. Hin, hin, haradala hin, hin, haradala hin, hin, haradala hin, haradala ro. Hin, hin, haradala hin, hin, haradala hin, hin, haradala hin, haradala ro. I am the land. I am the land. I am the land. I am the land. Listen to me, love me, for I am the land, from the stone on the hill to the grain in your hand. You've power in your body from the birth of the earth. Snow in the winter, blossom in the womb. Forget me not, nor treat me lightly.
Grass and leaves, little grey hart, little grey goose, little grey dove. Let the knife be small to fit your hand, no matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather fly. Grass and leaves, little grey hart, little grey goose, little grey dove. Let the knife be small to fit your hand, no matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather fly. Fast the flock that never flew, strong the ugly duckling, monster skin to wrap you in, fruitful all your hunting. Matriarchs who wrote the steps, fathers slain by raiders, changing shape to wield a blade, gosling girl avenger. Grass and leaves, little grey hart, little grey goose, little grey dove. Let the knife be small to fit your hand, no matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather. Grass and leaves, little grey hart, little grey goose, little grey dove. be small to fit your hand. No matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather fly. Princeling brothers try their best in the face of wicked laughter. Wizard's blood upon your hands, leave them trailing after. By your mother's starlit words, beastly skin surrounds you, changing shape to wield a blade. A whispered death has found you. Stars above us, stars within, right beneath our shifting skin. Our mother's magic in the end shall leave the deepest mark. Stars above us burning high, guide the flocks who never fly. Red paths before you should you try to journey through the dawn. Grass and leaves, little grey heart, little grey goose, little grey dove. Let the knife be small to fit your hand. No matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather fly. Grass and leaves, little grey heart, little grey goose, little grey dove. Let the knife be small to fit your hand. No matter fast, avenging all you love, wild of eye and free of feather fly. Wild of heart and burning feather fly. Wild of eye and free of feather fly.
Hello my friends and welcome to DruidCast episode 164. I am your host Dave the Bard, and DruidCast is brought to you on or around the 20th of every month by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids. If you want to find out more about the Order and our courses, you can do that right over there at our website at www.druidry.org. Opening the show, you heard two fabulous songs. The first was Forget Me Not by the Golden Apple, taken from their album Callisti, a rousing anthem to the land, and man, don't we need that right now. The second song was Gosling Girl, Little Grey Goose, one of the latest tracks released by my bardic buddy S.J. Tucker. Two brilliant songs sent into the show, and that is also a bit of a theme this month. If you've heard the last two episodes, you'll know about the new Walking the Talk series, where me and a special guest head off for a socially distanced walk at one or more of their favourite sacred sites, talking about their path, the land and what makes the site special. Well, I had another lined up for this month, but the England lockdown arrived on the very day we had booked for our walk, so it didn't happen. You'll also know that because of all of the camps and festivals being cancelled this year, I haven't been able to record any talks for the show either. A bit of a problem. But then Emma Burke, the chosen chief of the Order, came to the rescue. She has started a regular live stream from the Order's Facebook page called Fireside Chats with Emma. They are every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. UK time, and what she wanted to do was talk to members of the Order who may be a little less well known but who do some incredible work on their path. A few weeks ago, Emma interviewed a good friend of mine, Siggy from Austria, and as I watched the show, I knew that I wanted to bring that interview to you, the DruidCast audience. So I asked for the permission to do that, and they both said yes. So this month, we are returning to the talky bit. The interview on Facebook is about an hour and a half long, so this is an edited version. But if you want to hear the full interview and others in the Fireside Chats with Emma series, they're all still on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Druidry, and they are also on the Order's YouTube channel. The other thing that happened is that our awesome community of musicians have also been busy. Lockdown may have taken away physical live shows, but it certainly hasn't taken away from the creativity. So I had a good amount of new music sent in for the show this week. So thank you for sending in your work. And don't forget, you can find links to all of the artists featured on DruidCast in the show notes. And if you're a musician, poet or storyteller and you'd like your work on the show, send me an email to podcast@druidry.org. I can't promise to play everything sent to me, but I do promise to listen to it. And a little tip, the better the quality of the audio, the higher the chance it will be on the show. So before we head into this month's Talkie Bit, I have a couple more songs to play for you. The first is a song all about the mighty Iceni Queen Boudica from another couple of bardic friends of mine, Sharon Knight and Winter. And the other is the new song from a band we have played on DruidCast before. That is the Affinity Triangle with their new song, Diogras, which is Passion. We'll go right into this month's Talkie Bit right after the music. Enjoy.
I never trusted this uneasy peace, brokered by cowardly men. My king lay his dignity down at your feet, but I never knew you as friend. You scorn what is offered, take only by force. Nothing is safe from your greed. Defile our daughters, slaughter our horses, leave us hungry with need. You have laid your cruel claim, now you will share my pain. I will go, descend on you like thunder. No mercy I'll show, no quarter you'll know, the price you pay for plunder. You will feel the bite of my steel, a fury like no other. I will be your ravening ruin, and death will be your lover. Death will be your lover. None can withstand your arrogant pride. You punish or please with the lash. You only mean to degrade and defy. Your heroes are empty and brash. Now I will sing a warrior's song and break your brazen betrayal. I will shine with a fury most strong and lift this tiresome travail. They will call me by my name, the demon of the fame. I will go, descend on you like thunder. No mercy I'll show, no quarter you'll know, the price you pay for plunder. You will feel the bite of my steel, a fury like no other. I will be your ravening ruin, and death will be your lover. Death will be your lover. I will vanquish your cities and fields and bring no absolution. You will fall beneath helmet and shield, a plague of retribution. We shall win this battle or die. Let the men live as slaves, I will not. Rome, you will fall as sovereignty rises. Our loyalty cannot be bought. I will ride in furious fight, and death shall be my name. I will go, descend on you like thunder. No mercy I'll show, no quarter you'll know, the price you pay for plunder. You will feel the bite of my steel, a fury
Gonna leave this all behind me. Where to, I don't know. Following my passion, it's the only way to go. Gonna feel with all my heart, gonna see with both my eyes. Gonna hold on to my passion till the day I die. If you're with me, then I'm with you, through the good times and the hard. If we feed each other's passion, it will light up the dark. Will you see me when I'm see-through? Will you talk to me when I'm deaf? And when I'm losing my passion, will you offer yours to learn? Passion and beauty, love shining through me, oh yeah. Passionate for you, deep in my waters, you're there. You are there. Before us, but there's nothing there to fear. If we walk them with passion, it will guide our hearts from here. When we're settled in our purpose, when we're old and when we're grey, we'll remember all the passion from these good old crazy days. Passion and beauty, love shining through me, oh yeah. Passionate for you, deep in my waters, you're there. You are there. You are there. You are there.
The Talkie Bit.
Hi there, Emer Burke here. Welcome to the third Fireside Chat, where I brought to you by the Order of Bards, Ovates and Druids, where I'm in conversation with a member of the Order. Like I say, ordinary members that are not very well known, but I know since I've joined the Order in 2003, I've met some of the most fascinating people who are not well known, they're not famous, but they have a wonderful story to tell. So I am delighted to be with you this evening. So pull up a chair beside the fire. You can see my fire has been lit, and I'm going to introduce my mystery guest this evening, who is, wait till I get her, all the way from Vienna, Siggy Massenbauer. Welcome, Siggy.
Hello, welcome. Thank you.
I remember the first time I met you, Siggy, was 10 years ago, actually, this month.
Wow.
The first Ovate Gorset in Wales. It was hosted by Wendy Shrupshall and Andy Harrop and Mary. I can't remember her surname. And I was very new and very, very shy. And I remember we were sharing a yurt with a few other people. And it was a very special time for me because you had your harp. Well, it wasn't your harp, but you borrowed a harp from somebody. And I remember you taking it out of your harp case and playing it. And I told you that I'd played the harp when I was 12 for a while. And you said, get back and play your harp. Take it up again. And I did. And it might have been a number of years later, I got a harp, and I remember contacting you to tell you I had taken up the harp. And then I discovered that Dave the Bard has a similar story with you. Would you like to tell us that?
Yes. The first thing is the harp I had with me when we met was Dave's harp. So that's the advantage of playing the harps and having other friends in different places that play the harp. When you travel there, you can ask them to borrow you. Yeah. So you want me to tell the story with Dave and the harp?
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Simply, like, I just want to say, I've always felt drawn to the harp, and I just feel I love to recognize that people love to play the harp, or like often people tell me, I've been dreaming of playing the harp for a long time, or you said you've played it before. So I just feel there's not enough harmony in the world, and so I'm always happy to know that more people playing the harp and other instruments. But with Dave, we were at one of the summer camps in England, and on the White Horse, and I played the harp, and I said if anybody would like to try, because I know it's so difficult to actually find a harp to play, then they could come. And the next day Dave came, and I remember he was not well known at the time. I just remember he played the harp, and he played with 8 fingers within the minute. And I just got goosebumps, and I said, in some cases I tell people they should play, but in your case you have to. I could really feel there was such strong connection, and I felt the same with you. Like, I felt you had a connection with the harp. Yeah.
And I really appreciate that, because I did. I took it up, and I mean, I'm not great at it. I'm certainly not like you. However, I love it. It's my instrument. So, because I also learned the piano as a child, and it wasn't my instrument. I found it very threatening, and I had to do exams. And it was hell. So now I'm old, and I don't have to follow the rules, and I play with a very bad technique, and I don't care. I just enjoy it myself, which is lovely. And there are really kind people who listen to me and say, that was not. I appreciate that. So, how long were you in the order, or why, or what, I suppose, what brought you to Obod or to Druidry?
Well, I know from the other times that I would like to tell the story, and that is that I've always been feeling a very strong link with nature, and I always felt that with my normal friends, they didn't share that love. And I remember I was in the countryside, in the high mountains in my country, during the night, watching the stars and telling the stars, I want to meet the others. I always knew there were others, and but I didn't know a name for it. And then in the end, I just realized I can't find them. So I said, okay, I'm going to a harp festival in Edinburgh, and when I come back, I'm going to join the Buddhists. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but it's the closest that I can get to what I feel within. And when I went to this harp festival, I chose Fiona Davidson, the Bardic tradition and the harp. And first I was fascinated with her storytelling and everything. And I met another Austrian, and we talked about religions. And she said, the way you're talking is not Buddhism, it's Druidism. And she gave me a leaflet of Obod. She gave me the link. I believe in coincidences. When I came back to Vienna, another friend who knew nothing about that gave me a book of Philip and said, I think this is for you. So I thought, that's a bit too much of a coincidence,
Oh, that's absolutely wonderful. So in that search for something, what would you say was your first spiritual experience? Or did you have a supernatural experience or experience of divine or the other world at a younger age?
You mean like even before I joined or after?
Yeah. Well, before.
To me, well, there's a tree that I love especially. That's the linden tree. And there was a huge linden tree in front of where I lived. And I was like a young teenager. And I really felt whenever I came home from school, it was singing to me. And I felt such a close connection to it. And it was just really, I don't know, just really a strong connection. And one day they cut down the tree and I heard saws. And when I saw what they did, I just fell on the floor and I felt so bonded. And I don't know, afterwards I realized how much I loved the trees and what connection I had. But then years later, I sat under another linden tree playing my harp. And suddenly I remembered my linden tree and I realized my trees is in it as well. So just the connection of feeling trees and feeling them communicating with me, that was something that I loved especially. And the linden tree was the first to teach me that.
Wonderful.
She was my first teacher.
Beautiful. So then, since joining the order, because you asked, was I asking you about before you joined the order or after? Have you had interesting experiences since you joined?
Lots. But the one that came right after, like that's why I asked. I've always loved nature, but I would never ever have gone into the woods at nighttime by myself. And I remember I went to the first summer camp. So I think I've been in the order for about 26 years or so, 25, 26 years. I remember we went for a walk and there was a clearing and Ivan, he was the one who said, and now everybody goes into the woods. And I thought to myself, I'm not going. But my inner voice, which I listened very strongly to, said, you're going. And I thought, no, I'm not. Yes, you're going. So I just started to walk. And that to me was a most magical experience because before I had really been afraid, but suddenly I was walking through the woods. I knew the way completely. Nothing, like I could feel branches, but they didn't touch me. And there was a little bit of moonshine. So I did see something. I came to a clearing and there was a circle of trees. And I just really, really felt them welcoming me. And when I went there, I just, one was especially calling to me. And I just really felt I was given the freedom of the forest to forget the fear that I've always had, And that was really the beginning of me being free to roam through the woods day and night whenever I wanted.
That's lovely. For me, so what you are now is a nemophilist. A nemophilist is somebody who loves walking in the woods. And has a name, okay? And I do love that. I find that I'm never afraid in the woods. It's like the trees are my allies, my supporters.
Yeah.
I go for healing. So I just get the magic of that. So I know you live in a city. You live in an absolutely beautiful city. I don't like living in cities. I love living in the country too. But I remember having visited you 2.5 years ago. Think like that.
Yes, I think so.
If I had to live in a city, you know what? It would be Vienna. And it's just an absolutely amazing, and that's a city, and I remember we went out to see the Vienna woods, which was really, really cold. And you remember, what part of your landscape speaks to you? Is it like a park within the city or your balcony, or do you have a place outside Vienna that speaks to you?
You know that I'm a tour guide, so I will say something very tour guide like 50% of Vienna are green, and it takes me about 25 to 30 minutes to be in the woods. And in these woods, there is a well, which is my well, where I love to go like in the morning and like dawn really, or just play the harp there. That's where I really feel I belong. And I often ask my friends, if you would not be human, what would you like to be? And the answer that I have for myself, I would love to be a guardian of a well. So I feel really at home at the well. Yeah.
Just wait a few years, or maybe a good many years, then you could be the hag at the well, and that'll be absolutely wonderful. I want to comment on Siggy's laugh. To me, it's an opera singer's laugh, and I'm glad you've shown it. So, and I know that you're a tour guide, or you were pre-COVID a tour guide. And I was so impressed that you showed me 4 days worth of Vienna in 2 days. And you actually picked the best for me, obviously knowing what it was I needed, and it was just superb.
Mm-hmm.
But there's more from our conversation. There's more to your tour guiding than just being a tour guide, and it's how you use your druidry in that. And I'd love you to share that with people, because I think it's absolutely fascinating.
So when I shifted from being a bard to the ovate, the one thing that I did was making making candles, and I was continuing making these candles in the ovate, and then I suddenly realized I've always had a very strong connection to history, and especially the Second World War, and somehow this came together. Like, yeah, I'm not sure how I should start. Shall I just say how I came to it?
Absolutely.
Annie, okay. Now,
We're all
the thing is, when I was 13, I realized how my country was involved in during the Second World War, what role it played. And that's why I studied history. And I had gone to other concentration camps, but I could not go to the one in my own country, Mauthausen. But often I wanted to go, and I often asked myself, can I go? And my inner voice said no. And I remember the day that I said, can I go? And it said yes. And I thought, I am going to go. And I said, I believe in synchronicity and coincidence. On that very day, I was called by a tour office, if I would have the time and would want to go with the survivor of Auschwitz and Mauthausen to the concentration camp. On the very day, I felt within I should go. We stayed in the one hotel that belonged to the husband of a friend, so I could ask him to upgrade the survivor and everything. A friend was working there. I could give him everything. So it was really amazing. And the thing is, I just realized that the place that I had been afraid of going was actually the place that I'd been yearning to go. I feel as an ovate, there's so much healing in needed in such places. And I really feel this is what I want to do. And having gone there once, I told the survivor, officially I was your guide, but you were mine. And from the moment I had done that, I said to myself, I want to go there more often. And suddenly my friend said, Siggy, I've heard you have guided there. We have a group. Would you guide them? And I feel I'm both. Like I'm a storyteller as well. On the way, I tell the story. And because I was guiding Felix, the survivor, I could actually really tell the people the way the people were walking, like on the death marches. And I don't have to say, let's do this in silence. People do that. And I feel the place and the people need healing in such a place. So I always have a candle for each of the people. But I also make my own candles there. There's so many, I know all of these places, so many memorials. So I usually go with different candles and light them. And if it's too much, there's a huge willow tree, and that's why I go for my own, for just feeling embraced by the energy of this willow. It's really very special, and I'm very thankful for it. I could not do this kind of work if I would not be an ovate. That's what I feel.
And this willow tree, is that in that camp?
Oh yes, it is at the very beginning.
You're too overwhelmed by being there, then you're able to go and renew yourself with that. Beautiful.
It just called me. I feel called to it. It really calls me. So at first I thought I would be overwhelmed with what I felt, but I feel more. I am really in that time when I walked there. It said the ovate travels in time, and at first I thought, how can that be? And I thought, actually, I'm doing that all the time. When I'm guiding there, I really feel I'm telling what they are telling me, So I feel really, really linked, but I feel, I don't know, I just really feel this is my place, and I love to be there because I just know this place needs to have people to speak. I want to be a voice for for the voices that have been silenced. That's what I feel within.
And of course, that's a real honoring of the ancestors, so that you're speaking, they're speaking to you and you're speaking on their behalf. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful. I remember you, because I've never been to any of the concentration camps, and we didn't have time to go to that.
Yeah.
One that happened. but I remember when you were taking me down the street and you showed me that place on the street with the keys.
Yes.
And I found that just so moving. Would you just talk a little bit about that? And you have a story about somebody who saw her key, wasn't it?
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Like I'm often guiding, many of my tours are with Jewish people whose family actually came from Vienna. So we're actually retracing their history of their families. And I live in the 9th district, so which is a very small district, and many Jews lived in that district as well. And in one road close to me, one house, like people of one house said, we want to find out the history of the house. And then they said, okay, let's find out the history of the whole street that we're living in. And then they said, we want to make a memorial. And if you look, like, you know it, but so on the floor, if there's glass, and below there are keys. And on each of the keys is the name of the family of the person that has lived there. Yeah. So both of those who were murdered and those who were safe, like that could live in time. And I've had more than once a guest who came and said, this is my family's name. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so powerful.
It's also, they tell me where their families are buried, and I look for the grave, and I show them the picture, and I put a stone on the grave for them, you know. So there are lots of things, because I feel there's nothing I can do to change the past, but there is something I can do in the present. And an American friend once said, not on my watch. So I feel, this is our time, this is our watch, and what happens in this time is what we do and decide to do. And yeah. I hope all of this makes sense.
Somebody says here, Deborah, it's so beautiful that you have a willow tree to embrace you. It is wonderful that you are healing the place and the people. How courageous you are. And I just think that absolutely, I think that is just so true.
Can I tell you one more story about the tree then?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Because I told you that the linden tree is a very special tree for me. I've always felt that it was something like very heavy backs of like something very heavy on my shoulders because of history. I felt it was really there. And I was in the Czech Republic, and the first thing that I do when I go to a place, I walk the land and I say hello. And I was in real good spirit, and suddenly I started to cry really badly, and I thought, this is not me. And I realized it came from the place. And my Czech friends had said it's just before this. It was the 7th of May. 8th of May is the end of the Second World War. And I just really felt it had to do with it. And I felt a strong feeling of going into the woods. I walked into the woods. I sat by water. I wanted to go. And suddenly a butterfly went on my knee. And I said, okay, I'm going to wait. And the butterfly flew away. Then I walked on, and there was a path of 2 roads. And I said, so which way shall I go? And a deer came and ran to the left. So I went to the left, and I walked until the end, and there was a big clearing. And in the big clearing, with lots of sunshine, there was a huge linden tree. And I went to the linden tree, and I lied down below the linden tree. And I cried, and I really felt the linden tree was embracing me, and it really burned, but it was so healing. And when I came, it was I think one of my most special connections. And when I came out of the wood, it was gone. So I feel I love to try to bring healing, but I'm being healed as well. I always say time heals all wounds, but who heals the time? Yeah, that's what I think it is.
That's an interesting one. And I love that idea that, you know, you are the healer and you are the healed as well. There is always that two-way process, and that how we engage, I suppose, in kind acts or acts of healing that we receive as well. And we need to do that it's never one perfect person offering, that we all need that healing. Just a message. I am the daughter of a survivor from Vienna. Thank you so much, Siggy, for your work and kindness.
Thank you.
And there's this one in German that I can't understand. But anyway, I will just put that up. You can read that.
It's also in English. Somebody asked if the woods in Vienna are different to the ones in Salzburg. I just feel every forest has a different energy. And I can only say from Vienna has a very gentle female energy. And further west, I found it was a bit more male by the closeness to the high mountains. But yeah.
Oh, okay. So I suppose I was going to ask you, when has Druidry supported you? And there's just a beautiful example of going in there and being healed. Are there other times when your Druidry has supported you?
Well, the thing is, when I was in school, I was told that I'm not creative at all. I got the worst marks in anything creative, and I had the feeling I cannot do anything creative. And joining the order and realize, starting to do creative things, I suddenly said, this is not true. And I remember, I don't know. So just being able to discover that often we are told we cannot do something. And I think Druidry really opens the doors to your own creativity. Yeah. So for all the things, there's so many things I've learned, but to play the harp for me was definitely strongest. I'd started to play the harp just before I joined the order, but I remember I was initiated in England, and after the initiation, I said, now I'm ready to play in front of people. And the day or two after, somebody asked me if I would play. And I said yes. And I thought, gee, they're paying a lot of money for that. So I said, how many people do you expect? Well, about 600. And I had been playing the harp for 2 years. So I always felt this really was the end of my bardic initiation. I was very nervous, but being on stage, I was surrounded by a circle of bards. I was back in the initiation, and they were holding a circle around me, and they nodded at me. So, yeah, I felt really totally protected, and I felt only then this was, I came into the bardic.
Wow, absolutely! I'm just blown away by that, and. Yes, and I have I've had several of your candles. There's one you gave to me when for the handover, and it's over there on my altar lighting, so I can't bring it over to show people.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, the candles that you make, and they're not just works of art. It's the energy, the prayers, or whatever you put into them. Because I remember you giving me to honor Bridget, and I said, "Oh, thank you. I'm going to keep that up, and I keep it safe. I'm not going to light that because I don't want to destroy the artwork." And you said,
"Yeah.
It's meant to be lit. That's why I make these candles." And it seems kind of strange that you decorate them so beautifully and magically. And then it's like, well, now it's going to be burnt and everything goes a bit wobbly. But that's part of the process, and how you make candles for special events. And
Well, I never really thought of. First thing is, it is a family tradition. And as I'm sitting beside my altar, I want to show you 2 candles that my grand aunt made. She's the one that I saw as a child, She made these kind of candles. And when I saw them as a child, when I watched her doing it, I said, when I grow up, I want to make candles as well. And I have a Wicca friend, and she came, oh, that's pure candle magic. And I thought, But Dave came to Vienna, and I love what he said. He said, you are combining the art of the bard with the healing work of the Ovid. And that really is what I feel. I think of a person. I think of the person I do it for, and then I wait for the symbols and the colors that come,
Well, whoever said you weren't creative didn't know what they were talking about.
I think all of us are creative. We just have to open up for it, and not listen to others telling us we're not.
So it's interesting, when you talk about honoring the ancestors and all that healing you're doing as part of your work as a tour guide, in terms of how do you see your own responsibility as an ancestor yourself?
To me, I don't consciously think about it. I just feel it's important to be a good person and to try to treat other people as you want to be treated. I just feel within there is such a need and a yearning for love and for healing. Yeah. And I don't know, I feel a lot of warmth and love for the world. So I just do it in my little part of what I can do in my little surroundings.
And I think you're doing it. Which grade did you prefer, or which did you find most challenging or easiest?
Well, I started as a bard, and I could really relate to it as a musician and everything. I said, I'm not ever going to leave. And after 7 years, I'm always waiting for signs, and I got the sign that I should move on. I had finished the grade a long time before the 7 years, but it was at the bardic initiation that a friend said, my inner voice said I should give him the bardic symbol that I had, and he said, I promise when I move on, I'm going to give it to somebody who's just started the path. And I said, okay, I have to go on. And when I came to the Ovid grade, I thought, that is my grade. This is all about healing. This is where I feel really, really at home. And I said, I'm forever going to be in the Ovid grade. And you said it, I think, the first talk. I feel the more I learn, the less I know. And I feel there's still so much to discover in the Ovid. So how could I possibly go on, But then some month ago, I again had something like I saw a picture of history, and suddenly I felt I could not go on the way I was doing. And I asked within, what can I do? What should I do? And within a voice said, find healing songs. So I suddenly first felt it just made me, I want to go to the Druid grade now. But before I thought I would definitely go back to the Ovid, but now I feel I want to go back to the Bardic grade. Yeah. But doing healing work with, it's like making a combination. So the answer is, I don't know yet what the Druid grade will bring me, but I definitely feel the most connected doing healing work through music. I found more and more music is the healer.
Absolutely. And of course, going through the 3 grades is not a linear path. I mean, it seems like it, but you back and forth leave. And that once you go from one grade to another, you haven't abandoned the previous one. That they're
exactly
free. So they're very much like that triskel. I know you combine your Ovate with your work as a tour guide. Is there any other spirituality or spiritual path that you combine with Druidry?
Not really, no. Because the thing that I have found is, and I'm sure many others in Obot have the same. I have often found that I love to go through the woods and just feel like a special connection with the tree. And then I read about the tree and say, that's exactly how I felt, So sometimes I feel we already know some things and we are remembering and connecting. But to me, no, I feel really, I have found my path. No, it's just nature. Nature is my teacher. And there's not a particular other. I feel very much at home here.
Snow falls on frozen ground. Ice takes the heart of the sun. Trees wear the cast of a crystal-covered crown. Winter snowfall begins and never ends. Sweep across the plains to meet me, cloak conceals the man. Winter cannot end until the oak reveals your plan. Frozen rain will send this lesson, now I understand. Winter cannot end until your hand is in my hand. Rise up and feel the sun. It shines in here. winter's end is near, and you will hear my voice, and you will see the spring has come at last, winter's end is near. Rise up and feel the sun, it shines in here. Rise up and feel the sun, winter's end is near, and you will hear my voice, and you will see the spring has come at last, winter's end is near. And you will hear my voice, and you will see the spring has come at last, winter's end, winter's end, winter's end is here.
Tell the truth, there are things I don't miss. Fairy tales are not safe to be kissed in, not when you're the girl with the golden ball. Tell the truth, mama, you weren't prepared for me to be what we're taught to be scared for. No one rescues the girl who was written to fall. What to do when we don't fit the narrative? Left out to perish on a hill. Some of us would fight our way back into this, but do not look to me to be the one who will. Cast aside, left to peril and pain, left to weather the wind and the rain, thought wicked and told to run along and play. Turns out that I'm a survivor, took the gamble of dead or alive, or set free in the story, come what may. What to do when we don't fit the narrative? Left to the mercy of the storm. Some of us would fight our way back into it, but do not look to me to crush myself, to fit the form. I am no lost child, coming home, run along and play. Did you really imagine I'd waste my time begging to come back to stay? You thought the world would break me, told the wild to rise and take me. So now why should I be bothered how you feel or what you say. All the babes left in the wood who don't turn out like they should. For the boys they go no good, and the girls in scarlet hoods. Let your wolfish smiles be seen. You were never so unclean as all the ignorance that gave you no one else to come and save you. 'Cause you don't fit the narrative, left out of wishes coming true. Some of us would fight our way back into this. But do not look to me to cut my feet to fit the shoe.
Ziggy is such an amazing human being, and her work of healing, I think you'll all agree, is an inspiration. I hope you enjoyed that interview, and if you'd like to hear it in its entirety, as I said before, you can find that on the OBOD Facebook page and on the YouTube channel. After the interview, you heard the beautiful song Winter's End by King Jamshed from his new album Secret Winter. His voice and keyboard playing on that song, oh man, absolutely amazing. And that was followed by another track from the awesome S.J. Tucker, this one called The Girl with the Golden Ball. Well, this music means we are approaching the end of the show, but before I go, let's have the results of last month's competition. The prize was a copy of Christopher Hughes's The Celtic Tarot, and the question I asked was, the Neolithic burial chamber of Bryn Celli Ddu is aligned to the sunrise of which festival? Well, the answer is the summer solstice, and the first name drawn from the hat and winner of that amazing tarot deck is Rhiannon Denya from Worthing, UK. Congratulations, Rhiannon. That tarot deck will be with you very soon. The prize this month is a copy of a beautiful book created by Lucia Moreno Velo and Gwyneth Box. It is called A Wound in Time, Pagan Prayers for a Modern World. And I have 2 signed copies to give away, so thank you so much for sending those in. The question I'd like you to answer is, during her interview, Siggy spoke about her love for a classic bardic instrument. What is that instrument? Siggy spoke about her love for a classic bardic instrument. What is that instrument? Email your answer along with your full postal address to podcast@druidry.org, and 2 of you will win a copy of that lovely book. Just so you know, this weekend I'm playing another Facebook Live house concert from my Facebook page at facebook.com/DarthTheBard, 8 p.m. UK time, so go to my page and refresh it around 8 p.m. and join the community online and let me entertain you. But my friends, that brings this episode of DruidCast to a close. I'll see you next month for DruidCast episode 165, but until then, stay well and safe, and I wish you as ever peace and blessed be. Goodbye.